So The Bag is, I guess, a hip-hop theater piece that is about a crew of rappers that were, I would say, like underground, independent, famous in the early 2000s. And just like a lot of groups of the time, because of the destruction of the music business, the introduction of Napster, and the inability to understand like how the label fit into it, like so many of these bands that had some juice at the early 2000s kind of disappeared. So this band is one of those groups that disappeared, that disbanded, in this case for a very specific reason, tension in the band. A record deal was offered and one of the band members didn't want to take it, and so the band kind of fell apart based of that. And so The Bag picks up like 20 years later, where an offer is made because there's like this young kid that used to hang out at the shows and is turning 40 and is really, really rich. He's a tech entrepreneur and he wants to kind of recreate this 90s hip hop vibe for his 40th birthday. And so he offers $200,000 for this band to come back together. And it's really the question of like, what will you do for music? Like, or what will you do for success? Is money enough for success? Is camaraderie and connection? Is community building success? Is walking down the street and having people know who you are, or people knowing your music, is that success? And I think it brings up these real questions about how does a group of, in this case, guys, how do we, like, what's more powerful, the bag or the brotherhood, the money or the motivation to stay together, the creative juices that flow, or the desire to feed and clothe your family? Like, what's more important?
And I think the backdrop for the story is the Bay Area music scene. So we take folks through sort of like our personal journey as a band, and we use that journey to color the story with different anecdotes of things that actually happened to us, but exaggerated, and some license to kind of story build, right? So that's what's kind of dope about this, that's different than things that I've been involved with before, is that I don't always get to use my exact experience historically, which is a really cool way to kind of illuminate different parts of the Bay Area music scene that we just fell in love with, the reason why we do what we do. So a lot of it is also about the heart of what it means to be an MC, to be in love with hip hop. So there's, the fact that the 50th anniversary of hip hop just happened, we're kind of marrying the sort of timing of everything with the urgency of a message. There is stuff in here, when we talk about why the band broke up, it's a little bit bigger, right? There's a lot of factors of why that will happen in a band. And in this one, while there is an action that took place where someone rejected an opportunity, it's also a lot of reasons come out in the show of why the band may have not worked the way it was supposed to. So that's what's also interesting about the journey that we take folks on. So, yeah.
Nice. Talking about that 50th anniversary shit.
Cool, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's just an interesting backdrop. And then also being close to 50 or 50 and still be trying to be a part of this culture that is seen as a young man's game, I think is also interesting.
What does it mean to be or approaching 50 in the shadow of the 50th anniversary of an art form that you fell in love with and started working together
as a
with?
kid?
Yeah, as kids. I mean, like we were together. Since you were 18, since I was 19, right? Like we've been together, working together since like we're in our early 20s.
Yep.
Tommy as well. So it's like what kind of right? I'll speak for myself. Like, what kind of right do I have as a almost 50-year-old MC to like be writing rhymes, to be still thinking that I can show up in a studio and have something to say? We all laugh at Andre 3000, when he said like, what am I gonna rap about, my next colonoscopy? But like this idea of what happens when you still feel like your voice has power and purpose, but the world is telling you that maybe your time has passed, right? That's also, I think, a piece of what the show is about.
We're not going to tell you anymore. You just got to show up to watch The Bag.
I was doing that.